All right, so today we're diving into something that I think is super important for anyone who's, serious about their printing. We're talking HP latex inks, but not just the basics. We're going deep on durability, and we're ditching the marketing hype.
Yeah, none of that fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
We're going straight to the source, HP's own data and documentation, to give you the insights you need to make sure your prints last.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because who wants to create something awesome only to have it fade or fall apart?
Right. And that's why understanding durability is so key, because it's not just one thing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's this multifaceted thing. It's about understanding how a print holds up over time, depending on where it is, how it's being used, all sorts of factors.
It's like you wouldn't expect a watercolor painting to last as long on a park bench as a billboard.
Exactly. And HP, they break it down into three main aspects of durability.
Okay, beat me.
So you've got resistance to fading from light,
Okay.
resistance to scratches and abrasions, and resistance to water and chemicals.
Okay, let's take those one at a time. Let's start with light fade resistance. What's the deal there?
So light fade resistance, it's all about color, right?
Yeah.
We've all seen those posters that have been left out in the sun too long and they just go.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of blah.
They're sad and faded.
Exactly. So it's how long can we keep those colors vibrant? And the fascinating thing is HP's data, it shows just how much of a difference location makes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. A huge difference between something that's in direct sunlight versus, say, hanging in your living room.
Okay. Spill the tea. What kind of difference are we talking here?
Let's say you've got a vinyl sticker,
Uh-huh.
right? Out in direct sunlight, you're looking at maybe 4 years before you start to see some noticeable fading.
Okay.
Slap a laminate on there, you might get 6 years out of it. But bring that same print indoors, away from all that harsh UV, and it could last over a century.
We really?
Over a century.
That's insane. So are you saying, like, if I'm doing a short-term project and it's going to be displayed indoors, I could potentially skip the lamination?
You absolutely could. And that's the beauty of understanding these different types of durability, right? You can start to make really informed decisions about your materials, about your processes, and save yourself some time, potentially some money.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Okay, so fading. Location. We've got to keep that in mind. But what about just everyday wear and tear? That's where scratch and abrasion resistance come in.
Exactly. So think about it this way. A scratch, it's like that heart-stopping moment when you drop your phone and you get that nasty gouge on the screen. It's a one-time thing, big impact. Abrasion, on the other hand, is more like the wear and tear on your car's floor mats from years of use.
Oh my God, the car mat struggle is real.
Yeah.
So HP actually tests for both of those things
They do.
to figure out, like, how durable their inks are.
Exactly, and how they hold up under different conditions. And all of that goes into their recommendations for things like, do you need a laminate or not?
Okay, so that makes sense. So we've got fading, we've got scratching, but let's not forget about spills, coffee mishaps, anyone. How do HP latex inks handle water and chemicals?
This is where it gets interesting, right?
Okay.
Because you might think, water resistant, oh, I can just douse it, it'll be fine. But it's not quite that simple. Different materials react differently to liquids, and even just your everyday cleaning products can have a surprising impact.
Wait, so you're telling me it's not just about whether or not my prints can survive, like, a dunk in the pool?
Not at all. We're talking everyday stuff. Wiping down a sign with a cleaning spray, a little bit of rain splashing on a banner. These are the kind of things you've got to think about.
Okay.
Knowing how the inks react with different cleaners, that's key, especially for those high-traffic prints that are going to need regular cleaning.
Yeah, you don't want to accidentally wipe away the design or something like that.
Exactly.
So what's the deal with cleaning products? Are there any, like, surprises there? Anything we should be aware of?
Let's just say those alcohol-based cleaners aren't as innocent as they seem. While they might seem harmless enough, using them on HP latex prints can actually remove the ink over time.
What? No way! Are you serious? Alcohol-based cleaners can remove the ink.
It's a gradual thing, but yeah, over time, they can actually start to, pull the ink away.
That's wild. It's like they slowly erase the print every time you clean it.
In a way. That's why HP recommends sticking to water or a mild soap solution for cleaning. And even then, be gentle.
Okay, noted. No more harsh scrubbing for these prints. So we've been talking a lot about the inks themselves, but I'm guessing the material you print on plays a big role in durability too, right? Like, I can't imagine it's the same for everything.
Absolutely. The substrate's super important. It's like, imagine building a house. You could use the strongest bricks in the world, but if your foundation is shoddy,
the whole thing's going down.
Exactly. Same principle applies here.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So what kind of substrates are we talking about? Like, what are our options?
Let's see. So on the flexible side, you've got your vinyls, your banner materials, textiles, even wallpaper.
Okay.
Then for more rigid options, there's acrylic, polycarbonate, aluminum composite panels.
Wow, that is a lot to choose from. And how do they all stack up in terms of durability? Are there any, like, clear winners across the board?
It's not always that cut and dry. A lot of it depends on what specific type of durability you're looking for, but there are definitely some interesting standouts.
Okay, you got to give us the highlights. Which substrates are the MVPs?
Textiles, for example. You might not think of fabric as being super durable, but get this, when you print on textiles with HP Latex inks, they actually have fantastic dry rub resistance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which makes them surprisingly good for things like soft signage.
Interesting. Because you know how, like, at trade shows and stuff, those fabric banners can get kind of scuffed up easily?
Exactly.
It seems like the HP latex inks would be a game changer.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. And then, of course, when we're talking about overall durability, those rigid substrates, they tend to be the champs.
Yeah, they've just got that sturdiness.
More resistant to scratches, abrasions, chemicals, solvents, that kind of thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd imagine those are a little more pricey, though, right?
Generally, yes, but it's all about weighing the cost versus the lifespan you need, right?
Right.
And the specific requirements of the project.
For sure, for sure. Speaking of maximizing that lifespan, let's talk about lamination. Is it always necessary, or are there times when you can get away with skipping it? Asking for a friend who hates peeling laminate.
Ah, the great lamination debate. It's not a one-size-fits-all answer.
Because, let's be real, sometimes peeling off that laminate feels like performing surgery. I'm all for making life easier whenever possible.
I hear you. And the good news is HP actually provides some pretty clear guidelines based on project duration.
Okay, lay it on us. Lamination, yay or nay?
All right, so for short-term applications, we're talking like less than a month, lamination usually isn't necessary unless you're dealing with like really harsh conditions.
Okay.
For midterm projects, 1 to 6 months, lamination is generally recommended, especially if it's going to be handled a lot or subjected to like rubbing and stuff.
So, like, a poster for a month-long event, probably okay.
Yeah.
But if it's a banner that's going to be up in a busy hallway for a few months, laminate it.
Exactly. And then anything long-term, 6 months or more, especially outdoors, lamination is almost always the way to go. It's just that extra layer of protection.
Gotcha. And when we say lamination, are we talking about that classic, like, sticky plastic film?
Yeah.
Or are there other options?
Good question. There are two main types of lamination: film lamination and liquid lamination. Film lamination is the most common. It's that classic plastic film, gets applied with heat and pressure, provides a really durable protective layer, and it's relatively affordable.
Yeah, that's what I always picture.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with liquid lamination?
Liquid lamination, also known as a clear coat, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a liquid. You apply it to the print surface, and it cures to form a protective layer, similar to film lamination, but it's thinner and more flexible.
So you wouldn't use it on something rigid, like a sign?
Now, typically, it's better suited for like your canvases or banners, where you want that added protection, but you don't want to add a ton of thickness or stiffness.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like both of them are offering protection, but film is like the heavy duty, and then liquid is a bit more of a lightweight shield.
That's a great way to put it. And like with everything else, there are pros and cons to each method.
Okay, break it down for us. What are we talking about here? What are the trade-offs between film and liquid lamination?
So film lamination, you're getting that really robust durability, great scratch resistance, and usually it's a little bit easier on the wallet too.
Okay, cost-effective.
But it can be, a little trickier to apply, especially for larger prints.
I can imagine.
And that's where liquid lamination has an advantage.
Because you can get a nice even coat.
Exactly, exactly. Plus, it's a good choice if you need that flexibility, like for a banner that's going to be, flapping in the wind. The downside is that it's not quite as protective as a good film laminate.
Okay. So again, it's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
Always.
Speaking of which, we've been talking about making sure those prints last. But there's one area we haven't even touched on yet. What about textiles?
Yes. Printing on fabric with HP Latex inks. It's kind of a hidden gem when we're talking about durable printing.
Okay, so it's more than just, like, throwing a printed t-shirt in the wash and hoping for the best.
Definitely, definitely. It's a little more sophisticated than that. And while it might not be quite as durable as, say, dye sublimation, there are some serious advantages to going with HP latex on textiles.
Oh, all right, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So first off, it's a much more straightforward process than dye sublimation. You don't need a heat press or any special equipment.
Oh, okay.
And here's the really cool part. HT latex inks, they work on a wider variety of fabrics, even natural fibers like cotton and linen.
Oh, wow. So you're not just limited to like polyester and synthetics.
Exactly. It really opens up your options.
Yeah, now we're talking like custom tote bags, decorative pillows, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about dry rub resistance being important for like soft signage?
Yeah.
Well, HP latex prints on textiles, they actually score really well in that department.
Oh, so they can handle a little bit of like bumping and jostling without looking all beat up.
Exactly. They're tougher than people think. Now, it's worth noting that HP doesn't recommend their latex inks for garments that'll be, washed and dried frequently.
Right, you don't want your band t-shirt fading after one wash.
Exactly. But for things like banners, flags, home decor, HP latex on textiles is a great option to consider.
Love it. Another tool in the durability toolbox. Speaking of which, we talked about warranties earlier, and I think you mentioned that 3M and Avery Dennison offer some kind of warranty for prints made with HP latex inks, right?
That's right. It's not just about the ink itself, it's about the whole system, the film, the laminate, how it's all applied, that it all ties into the warranty.
Yeah, because those warranties can be a lifesaver if anything goes wrong.
Absolutely. That peace of mind is priceless.
Totally. Well, we've covered a ton of ground today, haven't we? We talked about the different types of print durability, the importance of substrates, the ins and outs of lamination. We even explored the world of textile printing.
Really a deep dive on durability for HP latex prints.
And most importantly, you're now armed with the knowledge you need to make sure that your prints last. You'll be able to pick the right materials, the right processes, the whole 9 yards.
So next time someone asks you, how long will this print last?
You can confidently say.
It depends.
And then wow them with your newfound durability expertise. But before we let you go, one last thought. We've been focusing on physical durability, right? How well something holds up against the elements, wear and tear. But there's another type of durability that's important to consider: environmental durability.
Ah, yes. Good point. And HP latex inks are known for being low emission and having those impressive sustainability certifications.
Exactly. So while you're thinking about how long those prints will last out in the world, it's worth thinking about their environmental impact too. That's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen. But for now, we'll leave you with that food for thought. Until next time, happy printing.